What is up, gentlemen? We have got for you a very, very special BITREP today. This is Tyler Bortella, Best in Faction, The Next Generation, joined by...
And it's Lucas. What's up, everyone?
He's also from Best in Faction, The Next Generation. This is going to be a good one. Oh, man. You are in for some... If you like competitive 40k, you're going to like this a lot.
If you like trolling, you're also going to like this a lot.
So I had an idea. And that idea was, what if forces aren't dead? And I know you're thinking, forces are dead. You can't play Tyranids of GSC anymore. This is Arks of Omens land. But you can still play GSC with Brood Brothers. And that led me to an idea. Because, what do GSC do? They cram 30 bikes all the way down your throat and say, stay right there. And what better way to punish someone for staying very, very still than to drop a nuclear warhead on them?
What if there was a better way than to do just that? And it involved dropping 2 nuclear warheads on them.
Yo, dude, you should write a list.
Genius
All right.
idea.
Very cool. So I am playing GSC with Brood Brothers here. And we decided that Lucas's Chaos Knights would be an appropriate recipient for this, as they're more or less like the perfect target because they're big, awkward, and don't love taking 16 mortal wounds.
No.
But they also then clap back insanely hard. So the list really only has the one way forward, right? If we did this versus orcs, there'd be like a lot of interesting plan B. Like we wanted to see if the thing does the thing.
Yeah, stress test it.
Yeah. So naturally we decided to play on Data Scry Salvage, which is the only mission that makes it into BITREPs apparently. And yeah, let's get going. I'll start the clip. So while we're deploying here, let's run through the actual lists themselves. Sure. I'm playing kind of my normal GSC stuff, but with the guard detachment. So the GSC is my usual Primus Icon Ward, and then I've got 5 Acolytes regular, 5 Acolytes with Flamers, 40 Neophytes, 2 squads of 20 with Seismics and Flamers, and they each have a banner. It's kind of a big deal in this game. And then one of them's got Lying in Wait, which is drop at 3, and one of them's got Perfect Ambush. And then the Acolytes have Excavate. You can see the details of the list in the description. But after that, I got the 30 bikes and then all the support characters. So the Clamavis, the Kellermorph, the Sanctus, and the Nexos. And then that's all I got in terms of GSC. Oh, and one of the squads of bikes has They Came From Below, now that there aren't Steelers in the list. And then the guard detachment, I've got a platoon command squad, 10 infantry, 2 death strikes, and a scout sentinel. It's 500 points on the dot, as much as I can take. And it goes. I'm going to pause this before this gets kind of fun. So what about you, Lucas? What's in this Chaos Knights list of yours?
Yeah, so I've been trying out 13 dogs. It was an idea that, was always in my head. It's something that might be pretty good. But I really saw played for the first time in one of our WTC scrims. So I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the network, but we're now allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we are prospects for Team USA, which is very cool, which means that the folks who are all starters and the various team leadership are looking to us for recent tournament performances and just generally the way we practice and play to consider us to be brought to Belgium this upcoming summer to be a part of Team USA, which is super sick. As part of that practice, we are playing regular scrims against other countries in the world. One of them recently was Sweden. I played against Sweden's, I believe it's team captain, Jonathan Slade Johnson, and he was, I believe it was him. He was running 13 War Dogs, and I played 10 War Dogs and a Big Knight against him. And I ended up taking that game, but I really saw the merit of 13 Dogs, and I think it's really powerful. So I've been recently trying it out and seeing how it's doing. So yeah, this is my take on 13 War Dogs. We've got 5 Stalkers with Chain Cannon. It's Erpatrax, as of course it is. We've got 5 guys with Chain Cannons and Fists. We've got 3 guys with Meltaguns and Swords. We've got 1 Brigand. He has the Mark of the Dread Knight. For 6 if Feel No Pain goes to a 5-up. And because Arks of Omens attachments basically give... The long and short of it is that you net 3 CP over what you were otherwise taking in a dogs only list. You have 6 CP to play with. So I have forked over some extra warlord traits with relics. One of them goes on the Brigand, 4 up invuln against shooting, 6 up in melee. We've got 3 Executioners. They're +1/8 vehicles, monsters, and characters. One of them has the Zinch upgrade and ignore hit mods and light cover for his relic. And then the Warlord is a single carnivore with the Blood Shield. I've also bought him a warlord trait, eager for the kill. +1 advance and charge, and +1 attack in the opponent's DZ. And he's got the dog hat as well. So overall, we've got 4 shooty knights, 1 melee only knight, and that leaves 8 guys that are mixed, so 8 stalkers. So fairly well-rounded, decent gun count of all kinds, although there are some shooting knights for people to still tag. So
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about this deployment. What's going on here? So we've got your DZ is right here.
Yep.
And then it seems like we've also got this line of dice right there. What's that all about?
Yeah, so this is my normal tact against GSC, and I wanted to just do this again to see how it felt. That secondary line is 5 inches back from my actual DZ. The reason for this is because one of the primary ways that Tyler's going to do damage to me this game is by throwing demo charges at me. Because those things, when you can max the shots and you can go to 3 damage, all it takes is like 3 or 4 failed saves to basically flatline a dog, which is really not ideal. So if we think about how far up he's going to move on turn 1, the bikers can go 9. They then normal move 14. 9 plus 14 is 23. So he will essentially be 1 inch back from my DZ line. So if I am in turn 5 inches back from my DZ line, 1 plus 5 is 6. Tyler's denoting this in white. That distance is 6. So as long as that is more than 6 inches back, he will not be able to demo charge me turn 1, which is great. This ends up not working super well against his squad that pregame moves, or not pregame moves, but comes from below.
They came from below. My squad, but they came from below. The idea behind that squad is to resolve exactly this problem and other problems of the bikes can't get quite deep enough turn 1 when someone knows what they're doing. And that's going to allow them to, instead of making a 9-inch pregame move, when they arrive from a blip, they'll make a normal move, which has no cap, just a set of 9 of enemies. So they'll go a full 14. Let's go back to the blue. They'll go a full 14. And then another 14, and now they're 4 inches into your DZ going 28, and then throw demo charges 6.
Yeah.
You're not getting outside of you're not standing 34 inches away from my line.
Yeah, and you don't have to be outside of 9 when you do that, right?
I feel outside of 9 when I do this.
When you move the 14.
The pregame move, yeah. And that is exactly why this guy right here, I've been calling him Moses, is in the list, because Moses here is a scout sentinel forward deploy. So if I'm the defender, and even if I'm not, because like there's 2 flanks generally, maybe you block off one side. Moses drops right here. He's got an 80 mil base. So this is 9 inches backwards. This is 9 inches forwards where you can't put your infiltrators. And now I've got an 18 plus 80 mil is what, 3 1/4 inches? So an over 21 inch long, basically channel that I can just cram bikes through without worrying about infiltrators getting in my way.
So if that circle is Moses, then the red line is definitely the Red Sea, right? Like
yes, exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. He's parting the Red Sea, letting the bikes get through, which is great for a lot of different things that they might want to do. And in this case, it's not nearly as big of a deal because you don't have any forward deployers, but it's going to be really helpful, I think, in the Marines especially. And then also it's not bad into demons with Nurglings or into other things. Again, to be clear, this list is a meme. Like, I think it's good. It's definitely good, but I don't think that it's I don't yet think that it's better than mono. And as like Lucas said, a lot of our list design is toward teams, and teams, I'm not going to have access to the guard codex because someone else might want to play guard, as it turns out.
Yeah, they're not bad.
They're pretty good. My hope is that guard gets nerfed absolutely into the ground so that no one wants it anymore, but they leave deathstrikes alone and I can just take that. But whatever the case, that's the plan. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's hit play here as we keep discussing. So yeah, we the last couple of Chaos Knights vs. GSC games we've played, I've gone first, I think, on all 4 of them.
Yes.
And let's just say that, I mean, Tyler's able to hide a little better on this board because I'm deployed pretty defensively. But let's just say in general, taking the whole board and then, blowing up a bunch of bikers is not exactly what Tyler wants. Yeah. So we decided to let Tyler go first this game, also to just see what would happen because, let's just see the list in full effect.
Do the funny, yeah.
Do the funny. Let the thing happen because it's hilarious. So Tyler's going first here. The deploying 5 inches back from my line is usually a good way to avoid getting demo charged, as I was describing earlier. It ends up not being super amazing this game. The reason being that I realized partway through is that really only one squad of demo charges is really going to be sauced up because you can only use the +1 damage strat once, and you can only use the max 6 shots once.
I can always just roll a 6, though. I do tend to do that.
It's true, but you could also theoretically roll a 1. I've never seen a GSC player do it, but you could. Max just rolling up and hard rolling a 6. And I'm like, you don't want to spend a CP for that? Okay, awesome, dude. So, yeah. But the idea is the other 2 demo charges will hurt a knight, but the 5 inches of space I lose, and I'm giving Tyler just like free extra space to bottle me up in my DZ, is definitely not worth the trickle of damage. I mean, those 2 demo charges will probably do like 6 to 8 damage combined.
Yeah. It does make my charges a little bit less automatic, which is nice. They end up working out pretty well here, but I think I needed a 6 was the longest one.
I gotta assume you make those, but like instead of knights here, 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 and here, I would have knights here, 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 and here. Yeah. Which is just so much harder for you to actually bombard. Because now you have to block this angle off with bikers.
Yep.
That becomes challenging because you have to go around. You have to block off this whole front instead of this.
Yeah.
And you have to block off this whole front instead of this.
100%.
Like, it's just so much more real estate.
Yeah.
Clear that off.
So as you can see, there's a lot of pre-measuring going on, making sure this bike situation all works out. These guys have already done their pregame and their regular move. These guys right here have just done their pregame. As you can see, they're already super far up the table, across that halfway line by about 2 inches, because they moved 14 on their pregame. And then as you can see, I'm being a little more careful here to back some guys up to make sure that everyone's in banner range. Because if I want to hit all these charges, I might as well get +1 to the charge while doing so. And that icon word banner just makes things real nice. Yeah, there we go. That's what 28 inches looks like. Zoom. So they're getting on in there. We're going to huck a demo charge over here. Do we just straight ace a dude between the demo and the flamers? No? What do we don't kill a knight this? I thought we killed a knight turn 1. Didn't we kill that knight?
Yes, you did. Yeah. No, I'm just straight up trolling. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think I put both CP into it, and the Sanctus did some damage, and then the demo almost flattened him entirely.
No, the demo. Oh, I failed 5 demo saves.
Yeah,
it did 15 damage.
Exactly. I didn't even get to fire the flamers.
Yes. It happened so quickly, I forgot. I was like, oh, well, there goes a guy.
Yeah. I think it's often not worth spending the CP for the flat 6 if you're going to do the +1 damage, particularly into this, because the flamers can do so much work. Depends on how the CP goes. I would have really liked another CP next turn, as you'll see. So that's a kind of a back and forth. But getting this guy out of the way is really nice because this dude is right up against wall, which means a single biker wraps him. So I'd much prefer to be doing that. Though I guess this guy here would be pretty similar. I don't know. Whatever the case, we'll see how it goes. I'm rolling some other shots, it looks like now. And then we're going to start charging, which is going to be fun. And as you can see, I've put my blast tokens down. They look a little bit like crossfire markers, but they're not. They're the old crossfire markers. One of them is going to go back here, and one of them is going to go like right here-ish.
It goes on the brigand base, actually.
Oh, yeah, right there. That's where it's going to go. Now, this I think was absolutely the right call. That was really good positioning because I'm going to wrap 2 knights right here, and they're not going to be able to go anywhere. So they're going to both get hit. This was a little bit greedy, I think. I was really hoping that I would be able to keep you forced back, and that was but I took double Godspear Warhead here, and we'll talk about later about that if that was the right call. But 6 inches it's not enough back there. You were able to get out of it. I honestly probably should have just parked both of them right there, especially because I can fire one, and if I don't like the result, I can fire the other and double hit there. It also would not have been a bad idea to park it right here or right here, just to physically force you to back way the hell up. If I put it especially because your base is massive. Yeah, I could force you way the hell back if you want to, or if you don't want to come charge the bikes, and then you have to kill the whole squad of bikes. This dude is also wrapped.
Yep.
Oh wait, why did I not put it there if that dude is wrapped? What am I? Okay, well, this is why we play reps and why we look back at tape so we can realize what the hell we're doing. Because if that guy had died, this whole game gets a lot simpler. Okay, cool. So we'll see how this is going. You can see me getting in there. I got my fancy new widgets here. I think I got those on Etsy. They got a 4-inch side, which is so big for me because all my pals and consoles are 4 because I'm playing GSC. And then it's also really good for terrain because terrain is all 4 and 6. Now, unfortunately, I do have to abandon my banner range with this squad in order to get them in. These 2 squads, I think, end up being fine on the charge, but not going so hot because you have... Oh dear. Oh, it's gone over there. You go 12 for 12 on hitting on 4s and then 11 for 12 on wounding on 3s or something ridiculous like that. So I lose a couple more. I was every single squad I was planned to lose a quad. I was like, this is fine. Quad dies, no big deal. Maybe a bike does as well, no big deal. But just bop, bop, bop. And we ended up losing a couple of dudes. It happens. It's not the end of the world. The mission is more important. Keep Lucas here. Do not let him go a step further than that, and we'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, you definitely took more casualties than you were hoping to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you accomplished the goal. So, yeah, I'm going to be locked 5 inches back from my DZ for 2 turns. And we'll see if I can come back from that.
Yeah.
So what are points looking like for you?
So secondary
took. Well, actually, no, you didn't obviously take Brood Swarm. There was a debate, right?
Yeah, it was Brood Swarm versus Behind Enemy Lines. Brood Swarm, I think, is the right call into Chaos Knights because they will table you, and you very rarely get to just sneak into their DZ and chill over there. At the worst, they could just Terror Shades you often on a later turn. Mm-hmm. Whereas Brood Swarm is very consistent. It's an automatic 15. If I end the game with 11 models on the table, I have by definition scored 15 on it, basically. Mm-hmm. So that feels very comfy. So we went with that, which we went for Bring It Down, because you got a pile of knights, so I'm going to try to kill them. And then I went for R&D. Banners was also a consideration. Honestly, so was Sabotage Critical Location, but that was kind of a meme. But I'm going to try that in a BITREP soon.
Okay.
But R&D feels better because I don't need to hold places. And my goal is basically do as much damage to Lucas while slowing him down to prevent him from tabling me too quickly. But I'm getting tabled. Chaos Knights just do so much output into GSC, and he has so many damn chain cannons.
Yeah.
And I the plan of get tabled is nice because it lets me prioritize knights on position, not based on outlook. That's not output. Output and war gear. Loadout. That's the word I was looking for. So that's nice as well to be able to prioritize. Just get into the thing, get out. So Brood Swarm, R&D, and Bring It Down. What did you take, Lucas?
I took No Prisoners.
What?
Of course I did. I took Ruthless Tyranny because of course I did. And I took Assassinate because it's that or Storm of Darkness. And between the amount of ability to just solo out single dogs, also the objectives aren't that hidden on this map.
Yep.
So you can definitely pick out dogs. You can also stop the actions of my dogs with your Climbivus, which has happened already.
She's such a baller.
She is very good at that.
I played at Sunday at LVO. Lucas watched me play a game into Lennon where he was fielding Chaos Knights, and the game did not go so well. It was a lot of fun. But one of the things that was a massive success was the Climbivus turned off Storm of Darkness 3 times.
Yeah, she's very good at that. So, didn't want to give her the opportunity to do that, so just took Assassinate and went all in on I'm just going to run through the midboard and table you plan.
Yeah.
So Assassinate, No Prisoners, and Ruthless.
Seems good to me. So, by the way, back here behind the wall, I've got one of my Death Strikes, I've got my Sentinel, and I got 10 Brood Brothers, and the Sanctus is back there as well. The Brood Brothers did R&D in this quadrant this turn. As you can see, Lucas killed me all the way off this objective. So I was only able to get a 2 on the button, which is really funny. My command squad, by the way, is going to be back here doing the button all day until I have a reason to fire their last cannon. Should not take the last cannon. And then, the other Death Strike is just chilling in the back where he's trying not to get shot. Yeah, nothing too crazy. So you can see Lucas is doing a lot of damage and shooting a lot of things down and charging things, but what he is not doing is getting a whole lot of ground
forward. Yeah, I'm trying to do all the movement shenanigans I can to actually just pile in forward, because right now I'm not even charging past his bike screens. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to do as much as possible to charge these bikers in front of me. But the hassle is there was one biker right there who was wrapping me up. My fat head's getting in the way. But yeah. Oh my God, I'm back. So anyway, there was one biker who was trapping my the gray carnivore that's right, or the gray stalker that's right there in combat. So if I shoot into you and take the extra damage from me shooting into combat, you pull that guy, and then I won't be able to make another charge into that unit. But my charge won't do that much damage either. So I just figured, screw it, I'm just going to do the guns and hope that
2 dogs shooting into combat
is probably better than one guy charging and hitting on 4s.
For sure.
So did that. That squad ends up going down to 2 models, I believe.
Yeah, I think I end up with a quad and a dude. That might be after morale though.
Yes.
Let's talk about what just happened over here with the Chad Carnivore.
Chad Carnivore did cost me 3 command points, but he ran in there, +1 to hit, reroll 1s to hit because Tyler's on an objective, and then
Plus
doggies
one attack.
gang up.
Yep.
So I had 8 attacks, hitting on 2s, rolling 1s, and flatlining on 3s because they're AP 4, ignoring invulns, D3 plus 3 damage. So he just ripped like 7 bikers off their bikes and tossed them into hell. And then the remaining 2 guys just decided to big chill on that objective. You auto.
I mean, I did auto pass them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a real question mark for me because it's the difference between. I just have to roll a 3 up, right? Because I'm gonna or a 1. So it's literally like it's almost a 5 and 6 chance that they're fine. But even if it were quite a 5 and 6, I don't love that because I'm holding this, and I'm not holding these. Mm-hmm. So it's the difference between a 4 and a 12 on primary. And they're not obsec, so they won't sticky that, but yeah. And then also obviously having the unit around would be nice. They could potentially run back over here and eventually get rezzed by the banner. They can do other screening stuff. Hilariously, what they end up doing right here, I think was a huge mistake. I tried for a minute running them around here to hide, and then Lucas has 2 dogs and Alpha. We didn't mention that. Mm-hmm. You have what? It's a Melta and a chain cannon
sword and a chain cannon fist.
Gotcha. There's some free strat reserve because welcome to Omens. You can do that. And I wanted to make sure they couldn't just waltz in over here. And I end up putting them right over here, right behind that wall, which ends up being awful positioning. What if they just went there? How much better would that have been?
Maybe better.
Because then you don't get to charge onto this objective at all.
Don't I get to shoot your acolytes then?
But the neophytes came out to here, so the 9 would screen them still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just thinking too many layers at once, and then we end up in the same predicament where if you want, you can charge the neo those, but then you can't shoot them.
Sure. So
yeah. So I think that ends up being the wrong position for them to be in, but it's not the end of the world. That carnivore is going to do what carnivores do. And then obviously I'm just going to fall back right here with my 2 remaining dudes. Ask Lucas politely yet firmly to stay right there while staying outside of 3 inches of the God Spear that I'm about to drop on these poor fools. And yeah, my Sanctus is going to walk out and touch this, get a little more bodies on that objective, and then we're going to start dropping. And these neophytes are going to end up back here behind the crates, touching the objective, and they're going to R&D. So that'll be my second R&D. And then things are spicy. By the way, you all probably can't tell. The Primus and the banner are right here. That's why all the bikes were trailing back to there, and it's why the neophytes are going to drop in there as well. I quite like this piece in this place on this mission. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing that I'm going to do a lot more in the future because it's so big and blocks line of sight from so many angles. I think I probably should have turned it. Oh, that was weird. Turned it a little bit more this way so that I can guard that. Exactly. Guard that little corner over there and take more advantage of the box over here. Yeah. But yeah, because it basically gives me 2 different objectives that Lucas has. As you can see, he blocked them off terrain-wise. He put stuff there, but he can only put stuff so far up. Mm-hmm. But it would give me really good resurrecting access to both of those objectives, which is what ends up happening. So I definitely would be looking for that move again, regardless of what I'm playing. It's Calomorph going down over here. He's going to try and shoot this guy. And so here's my thought process here. Lucas has a dog right here. He has 2 dogs over here, and he has 2 dogs in here. If I can make those 5 dogs go away, Lucas will have outflank, and then everything else in his army is backlined. Mm-hmm. These dogs are going to get a missile dropped on them. So let's shoot these dogs down and this dog, and then we'd be in real good shape. Calomorph is going to help deal with this guy. For a minute there, I think about move blocking here and then realize that it doesn't work properly. It was one of those, I'm sure there's a way around this, and I don't want to figure out what
I would have shot you with 3 stubbers I would have shot you with stubbers until 3 models died, and then I would have slung-shot 3 dogs onto these objectives.
100%.
Definitely not worth it. That is something that, you would definitely, you have to play against pressure armies a certain amount to really appreciate just how much they can get from a slingshot like that.
Yes.
Right? Because your whole strength in this match right now is you've got me in a corner.
Yep.
So why would you give me any opportunity to get out of that corner, even if you think it's for a move block purpose?
Exactly.
Just let me exist back there.
Yeah. So he's going to go get hemmed in over there. It's not an issue over here because there's no way to charge these guys while getting around them.
Yeah.
So they're not nearly as concerned, and they're actually seriously decreasing your movement. Dropping 6 inches back here, you move 5 instead of 12 is something, and then they charge, and then they've gone their full 6, and then pile console.
Yeah, one guy goes 3, and then the other 2 go 6.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
at minimum.
Yeah.
Whereas by contrast, these guys over here, you're not going anywhere. So here come the neophytes. We're going to pre-measure a bunch of stuff out here. We're going to put perfect ambush on this guy over here, the executioner, who I really want gone, because the carnivore I'm not nearly as concerned about anymore. He doesn't have any bikes to munch on. The executioner has a lot of damage, and once these two go down, Lucas's next knight is all the way back here. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have to bring in his reserves over there if he wants to contend on that side of the battlefield. And with two different units over here, that's the benefit of having the two units over there. It's not nearly as easy to deal with in one or two activations. Mm-hmm. So that'll be real nice. Anything else that I'm doing here that's particularly crazy? I don't really think so.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just kind of doing the damage you can.
Yeah.
They have me in.
Only 40 neophytes is certainly not the drop turn that I've gotten accustomed to with my 80, much less the 100 that I think I'm going to be playing in the future. But it still does some good work, especially though because I have to be back. This is the downside of this matchup that I see more and more often. There was a real consideration, there really was, of doing this with the 3-inch squad.
And just fully blocking.
And saying, you're staying right there for 2 minutes. But like Lucas said, it's real easy for him to take advantage of that, to get a bunch of slingshots out of it if I'm not super careful with my order of operations. And that squad is 100% dead. I really want to get 2 activations out of each of these squads, if at all possible, because I just don't have the guns that I'm used to having.
Yep.
But that means seismics only, basically. I think I get 1 flamer from over here because I have to be within 12 anyway to get perfect ambush off. But yeah, so we'll see how this goes. We're starting to roll some shots here. And the downside of of this play style is that exposed is really hard to come by.
Yes.
So we're using a lot of strats to get exposed. We're using perfect ambush to get exposed because I can't get behind him because, well, I crammed him all the way in the corner. There is nowhere behind him to be. I hoped for a moment that I could fit acolytes in here, but I absolutely could not. That was...
Yeah, it was funny. I can't be fully crammed into my DZ and have you hanging out in there, Tyler. Come on, one or the other.
All right. So we're going in. And I think we start off with the Warhead because I want to see what that does. And I roll a 2 and a 3. Boring. Just 16 mortals. Only 16 mortals in total, 8 to each of them. And then one of them saves 3 of them?
3 of them on the field of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was not the best showing from the first missile. Was not
giga impressive. If that had, the 6 is ambitious, but I was really hoping for at least one of those to be a 4-up because it would kill the wounded dog or it would do a ton of damage to the not wounded dog. I'm glad I didn't roll a 1. 1s are bad. This is a very dicey situation that if I roll a 1, it just literally doesn't do anything. But it's interesting. It was decent output. I don't usually think in terms of making my points back, but for a 160 point model deal 16 mortal wounds, it's okay. Especially what's nice is I still have this chassis over here who's just chilling. I still have a tank. It just can't do the thing anymore. And then I move the missile over here to this basilisk that's proxying as a second death strike until my other one arrives on Monday. So that'll be fun. And then... Oh, I guess we're already done. So as you can see, this guy didn't die. These guys didn't die. That one dude died. I killed 1 knight that turn. Mm-hmm. I am concerned.
Yeah.
This is about to get real sketchy real quickly.
Yeah.
On the plus side, Lucas is getting a 0 on turn 2.
Yes.
Which is not what he likes to see.
Yeah. And my forward movement options are still limited.
Yeah,
they're there, but they're limited. Mm-hmm. This not being an angle of attack is a big shame.
Yes.
So I'm going to get to move up on the bottom and top of the board, but as Tyler discussed, I only had the 2 dogs up here. He killed one of them, so now the carnivore is going to get to go in again and do a bunch more damage. But these 2 guys are a full turn behind, so it's going to be at least until turn 4 for them to get onto objectives, which is not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're kind of in an awkward spot where you can only stand on one of these. It's very important to me that it is that one. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that ends up working out just fine. Yeah, it's important to me that it's that one because my plan here, for those of y'all who aren't super GSC oriented, is these guys are all going to die. And then I'm going to have the rest of them chilling back here. And then on my command phase, I'm going to resurrect back onto that objective. And I'll hold it, and also I'll put some sticky on it, which is real nice.
Yeah.
This side's a little more complicated because he's able to just run up and go stand on it, and then you end up advancing, right? You had like what was the charge on the Sanctus if you wanted that? It was like a 7 or an 8 or something.
I think it was longer.
Yeah, it was a really long charge, so you decided to just advance. I think you needed you needed like a 3 or a 4 or something to get on there, didn't you?
I needed a 2 to get onto the objective.
Gotcha.
I think I needed like an 8 or 9 at the Sanctus.
That sounds about right. So you go ahead and advance, get this guy standing on there. I have an OBSEC model over here, but I did not set up 6. I probably just should have, frankly. These guys had to be this far out to be able to shoot this way in the first place, but I probably should have set up a couple of more dudes there to prevent this. Though also, as you'll end up seeing, that's not necessary. Being GSC, there's always ways to get.
There's always ways for dudes some rats to come back.
Yeah,
the extra banner in the squads is really good for guaranteeing that dudes come back.
Yes, it is. This is the one thing that I don't love about my 100 Neos build right now. I cannot find 40 points for more banners right now, and I really want them.
That's a shame.
And it would probably mean cutting like a support character, which would suck. Or
which one would that be?
It probably has to be the Clamavus, which I love her so much. That feels bad,
but she's definitely the worst one.
It might also be the Sanctus.
Really?
Because now the bike squads have grenade launchers.
So they can apply crossfire.
They can apply crossfire. Okay. It's not super reliable, but it's something.
For sure.
Yeah. But she's my favorite tech piece ever.
The Sanctus?
The Clamavus, yeah. So regardless of which one's worse, I'd rather keep her because she's incredible.
Gotcha.
But it definitely also wouldn't kill me to drop down to only 5 characters instead of 6 for assassinate purposes.
Definitely.
Because usually I can keep 2 safe, and then being like, all right, now you get 3 instead of you get 4. That feels a lot better. So that's something to consider. We'll see how it goes.
So yeah, at this point I have, like we were talking about, I know that we're filming this right after our show, but we were talking on our show this morning about how a great way to deny primary points on this mission is to stand on your opponent's home field, because they can only do the action if that objective is clear of enemy models. So Tyler's done a great job this game of hopping on that. So even though I control it, I cannot begin the action. So just hoping to get on this objective with a decent foothold so that Tyler's warhead that's coming down there next turn doesn't wipe me off it completely.
Yeah, I did move the warhead targeting from there to there, because that's what the death strikes do. They either fire the missile or they move the target to fire it somewhere else next turn instead.
Yep. Other dogs along the bottom of the table all advanced as far as they could. We also had the 2 dogs arrive from Deep Strike, kind of on the left side of the board in the middle.
Strat Reserve. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the shooting phase there just killed a whole bunch of cultists from the blue squad. And then the purple squad over here also took a whole bunch of casualties. They ended up not dying, though. So both of the squads are down to between 5 and 10 models.
I think this squad ends the day at 3, and this squad ends the day at 8, something like that. But yeah, we'll see what they can pull off.
Yep.
Yeah. So here we go, and I start rezzing models, and we get our full 6 because it's 2 dice. It's not crazy. I think we actually might have only gotten 5 in this squad. Anyway, so we get out. We're on this objective now, and Lucas is not, and we're also going to grab 2d6 more guys and park them on top of this objective. So we'll have this dude. I think we only got 4 back because I think we only can. Did we hold this?
We got 5 back.
I got 5. Cool. So I'll end up holding this, holding that, holding this, holding that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 12. So that'll be my second 12 in a row, which is exactly what I was hoping for, because as you can kind of read the board state here, things are about to start falling apart for me real quick.
Yes.
So I definitely need to get I'm trying to win the race to 100 at this point.
Yes. And you're doing a good job of it.
Yeah, I'm feeling confident in my points, but if that were an 8 and not a 12, I'd feel a lot less confident.
Yeah, I should have probably thought a little harder about not shooting those guys. My thinking was, if I can get them down low, they're only bringing back, I would have to imagine 6 models.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be easier to kill them next turn, but slightly easier to kill next turn was not with the 4 primary points. Yeah. Shooting this squad off was definitely worth it, because that enabled my carnivore to go for a charge. Mm-hmm. Also, if Tyler continues to leave the 1 model that was strung out here, like once he gets to 10 models, the carnivore, frankly, what I should have done was after you pulled these guys, I should have just charged the carnivore into them and spent 2 CP to get 21 attacks and real ones to hit and just wipe the unit out.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
That. Yeah, he's got 7 base and he can do.
And the 1 CP his chainsword becomes triple instead of double.
Yeah, that was stupid.
So I would have killed like 5 dudes. So you'd have to get through like 15 with 21 attacks, 2's reroll 1s.
Yep.
What's the reroll from?
It's a 1 CP strat to reroll 1 hit if you're on an objective.
Gotcha. So like 20 hits and then wounding on 3's, reroll 1s from his own dog hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dead as hell.
Yeah.
That would have been the right call for sure.
Close to it. Okay. Interesting things to think about for next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that squad ends up getting wiped down to like a couple models and then resurrecting back onto this objective. But I needed to kill them out of the way so my carnivore could go around the edge of that ruin and get those last 2 bikers.
Yeah.
Which he did. Which was good.
Oh, he sure got them.
He found them and killed them. So yeah, we got Moses coming out to party.
Yep.
And the funny already used Death Strike coming to bonk me with the stick.
Heavy flamer, baby. It's a tactical heavy flamer.
Most haggard shit.
Yeah, they're really just there to set up a move block, make sure that because Lucas absolutely would walk right over here and shoot these dudes, and I would not like that to happen.
No.
I could probably get away with just using one of them for that purpose, but I was also thinking about funny charges and stuff. There were options that were worth considering. So I spent a little bit. This is kind of my big think because turn 2 was pretty obvious what I had to do. Turn 3, it's like, all right, well now things are interesting. Yeah. So we gotta see what we come up with. We have this thing here. Lucas also, in charging and pile consoling, managed to get this dude outside of 3 of the marker, which is very annoying to me. I could have placed that marker a little bit more carefully to make that a lot harder for him. Yes. But he's taken advantage of my mistakes. It's my first time using the thing, so won't do that in the future. Obviously, with 3 inches, you can't quite fully cover a 3.5 inch radius thing, but you can cover the vast majority of it.
More than you have right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it's going to hit just this guy, who I think he's just a full health Herpatrax dog, so a full 14 wounds. Yep. So that will hopefully do 12 to him, and then I'll see if I can nickel and dime him from there. And then we're going to try to get interesting later. And by interesting, I mean we're going full forward, baby. Go get them. That's the plan. Yeah, those cultists those neophytes are dead as hell anyway, so they're going to walk up to here, set up exposure with the Kellermorph, so that this dog can die. Because again, the plan is always just delay. Get Lucas as far back as possible. Kill the thing that's in front of me. This dog has to die. This dog has to die this turn. Yeah. It is a game-losing mistake if he doesn't. And now I drop in my Clamavis, and she ends up like right in this corner here, hands these guys ignore combat attrition so that they can go do fun stuff. Because when you go into the lines in against Chaos Knights, you got to be ready to deal with combat attrition shenanigans. Yep. These guys dropping down here are going to touch the train and see across like this. The rules are really weird, but that is how that works. So we can set up some exposure on this guy. And then, the Clamavis is set up to have this guy within 18 and this guy within 18. This is why that relic is so big for me. As much as it would be like, that's another consideration. If I did drop the Sanctus to switch the Clamavis's relic over so that she hands out a crossfire, I would consider that. But this 18 versus 12 thing lets me do that, which is just silly. It's so far away and it's so much value. I think for me as a player, it's just more in my wheelhouse. And as you can see, these boys are also full sending it. And you missed it because Lucas's head was in the way. Rolled the fat 6. That knight takes 16 mortal wounds.
Get annihilated.
Get removed from play, bro. So that was awesome. That was all I wanted to have happen in this game, was to roll a 6 on a knight and watch it explode. It unfortunately did not explode. That would have been really funny.
It just keeled over.
But,
as you do when you get hit by a thermonuclear warhead.
There's no way to explode when there's nothing left to explode. It's just a small pile of ash.
Dust and echoes.
Ian's car.
Bruh. Too soon. It'll always be too soon.
So then we go in and we spend a CP to treat this guy's exposed with industrial, and we blow him to hell. And the Kellermorph blows this guy to hell. And then I don't even remember what these neophytes do. Maybe they soften this guy up. Maybe they shoot this way. Doesn't super matter. And then that's the stuff right there. We plant our flag here to make this like 6-inch charge into a 5, and the Neos full send into your Brigand, who you were out of CP, so you couldn't overwatch with. because you spent that on something silly. What did you spend that on? You rotate?
Blew up my guy right here.
Oh, you auto exploded that dog. Yeah.
I think.
That's exactly what that was, which is mildly annoying because suddenly my sentinel goes from 7 wounds down to 6, which means that charging a dude with a 3 damage weapon becomes suddenly a lot sketchier. Yeah. 4 attacks, 3 damage. I can take 2 of them. I feel okay. 4 attacks, 3 damage. I can take 1 of them. Not so much. So he's just going to chill there and not bother charging. These neophytes die to coherency. I was trying to be fancy here, but the angles don't work, so it was unnecessary. The other thing, I had to lose some of them because otherwise the seismics, I had to pull seismics, and I wanted to get my seismic shooting because they hadn't shot yet. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, here we go. We charge on in here. We wrap this boy up, and then the Clamavus turns off his obsec. So I already had 6 models on there, so it was already my objective, but also now he's not obsec, and I've got models on this objective, so there's no action happening, which feels...
Did my guy over here
nice.
Surely, right?
Yeah. I blew that dude to Kingdom Come, didn't I?
I thought you did.
Yeah.
I don't remember. He's still over there. Maybe I'm going to remember in a second that he's dead. Or maybe we were just wrong.
I think
those acolytes are still back there.
I think,
right?
I think you only kill 3 of them.
That was with my chain cannon guy advancing. Oh, that's not the carnivore. That's the badass who rolled a 6 on his advance and zipped over 18 inches.
Yeah, no. All right, bro. Whatever you say. Yeah, that's why you couldn't charge them because you advanced. You just get to fire off your shots. 12 shots hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s. You kill 3 dudes. And I had cover, so it's about math. Cool beans. Yeah. Oh, man. So Lucas now is free of most of these stupid shackles that I keep applying to him. Yeah. And is blitzing forward, trying to catch up and get some points. He has scored, at this point, it is currently, top of 3?
Lucas bottom of 3.
Bottom of 3, and Lucas has scored 0 primary.
0 primary. I've gotten a ton of no prisoners. I've gotten 0 assassin, and I've gotten 1 ruthless. So it's not going amazing.
Meanwhile, I have scored a 5 on Brood Swarm both turn 1. I have maxed Brood Swarm in 3 turns. So I'm at a 15 on that. They are indeed over there. So I've got an 8 on R&D. I've gotten 2 12s, and I've gotten some Bring It Downs. Yeah. So I almost have the maximum number of points that I could have at this point, and you have almost the minimum number.
Correct.
So you've got some catching up to do, bro.
Indeed.
And catch up, you will certainly try.
So I was upset when I got a 4 on turn 4. If you're fucking 5 models left, you give me a 4? Don't ask me how that happened.
Ask me, I'll tell you.
Magic, dude.
Benefits of being a wizard, dog. Yeah, so one of Lucas's big ideas that he's like, it was really funny watching him eventually learn to do this because he didn't for a while, is 2 dogs on each objective, damn it. Yeah. Do not leave 1 dog on 1 objective and think that it's going to be okay. So this dog is now down to 5 wounds. That's what these guys shot. They shot at this dog and knocked him down to 5. Maybe something else had weakened him earlier. Mm-hmm. This dog is at full. He's over here. There's still my guys back here. I've got 6 of them with OBSEC. Not enough, though. Obviously, 10 beats 6. He's got 1 dog who's going to run on out over to here, and then he's got this 1 dog that's over there. He's not putting anything on this objective or this objective. He just can't get there, which is how it goes. And he is feeling pretty confident because all of my neophytes are going to die. Yeah. Surprise! Not quite.
Yeah, the 1 rat.
I have 1 rat who... the math was a little bit shaky, but I ended up getting really lucky and rolling a 1 on my morale after I failed slightly too many saves. Yes. So he's big chilling. I really just needed 2 guys to survive because they're immune to combat attrition. So if I fail 1, just 1 gets pulled. Because you didn't take the lose an extra guy, did you?
I did.
Oh, had that been taken at this point? When does that happen? Is that turn 4 or turn 3?
It's definitely an effect at this point.
Okay, well, I'm glad I rolled the 1 then because my whole plan was to not lose the extra guy.
Yeah, you needed a 1.
Okay, so I rolled the 1. That was hype. That was some luck. Sorry, that was a very tactical maneuver, high skill
for
play.
That to happen.
But generations in the making, dude.
Goddamn.
But so that guy's there. So he's got a flag, and then he brings back his 6 best friends.
Yeah.
Who don't really do a ton. I have to, when I fall back here, I wasn't what I should have done is rezzed in a double chain like this and then fallen back like that. So I end up with a dude on the objective. I end up not doing that because I'm not paying attention. So Lucas, do you hit on the button that turn? Yeah, you get to hit the button for a turn. So Lucas will definitely be holding this. There's nothing I can do about that. But then he's got 1, 2, 3 others currently. And the question is, how many can I reduce that to? If I can knock, and then for me, I've got this obviously, and then this is stickied. So what we end up going for here, I'm trying to remember how I do this. Oh, I remember how I do this. So I've got 2 rats back here, 2 acolytes that you can't see. They're behind the crates. They're going to walk up, stand there. The Clamavus is going to get within 18 of this guy and turn off his obsec. Yeah. So that'll knock you off of this one. And then out here, the Callimorph is going to waltz out to there. These guys are going to fall back this way to set up an exposure. The Callimorph will kill the 5 wound dog. And then we'll have 6 of my Brood Brothers here with OBSEC stand on this objective. So we'll take this one out from under you. And then Lucas will only have these 2 objectives, which is hilarious because if you look at the board and you're like, which of these objectives is the weakest of Lucas's right now? It's obviously this one. Yeah. The one in the middle of the table with only 1 dog on it. But no, we're going to let him have that one. There's nothing I can do about that right now. But yeah, so Lucas is going to end up getting a 4 here, which ends up pissing him off a good amount.
Yeah. Don't know how the hell that happened, but it did. I even tried the Terror Shades to try to flip one of them. I guess it was unrealistic, right? Because your leadership 9.
Yeah, because these guys are leadership 8 plus 1, leadership 9 is them. These guys are leadership 7 base plus 2 from being Brood Brothers to 9.
How to roll an 8, so it was more or less a 50-50 to flip either one.
Yeah,
that's something.
But you need to kill both of these dudes.
Yeah, they're leadership 6.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because -3. Gotcha. Yeah, that Clamavus relic is so good.
It was good.
So good. But yeah, I think I ended up like heart rolling a 4. Just saying, fuck off.
Yeah.
So that was solid. And I think the hope is that should more or less seal it. The command squad back here does R&D on my home quadrant. The Nexus walked backwards to hit the button. This guy, the Deathstrike, advanced up, having already fired his missile now, to provide lookouts to the Nexus so he doesn't just get sniped. So the R&D goes off, which is nice. It was a 2 in 3 chance that it would happen, but it worked out. It was very funny. That squad was only 4 dudes because it took a las cannon. I should not take a las cannon. It should just be 5 dudes.
Get extra model.
And then, and then it's just don't roll a 6, which is way better.
And you get 2 tries at it usually, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it'll be 4 and 5.
Yep. And it's a really easy one to do it turn 1 with if this isn't automatic, because its list often has this really annoying problem where it can't get R&D turn 1. The Brood Brothers help with that. They help with that a lot. But yeah, so I think that the hope is that seals it on points, because
now I've only gotten 4 primary, and that was one of my 2 chances to get it.
Yeah, I ended up getting a 4 on primary that turn as well, because like I said, this was stickied, and then I've got the back there.
I was hoping for a 12, hopeful, at worst an 8, and you gave me a 4, so it's pretty much worst case scenario.
Definitely. So I'm sitting on primary. I'm sitting at 12, 12, 4, and you're at 0, 0, 4. And then tertiary, I've got a 2, 3, 2.
I think you got 2, 3, 2.
2, 3, 3. That was 2, 3, 3. Because that turn I had this, and I had that. So that would have been a 3. Sure. Yeah. So I've got 2, 3, 3 on tertiary, and you've got 0, 0, and then you'll get it this turn because I messed up my fallbacks here. And I assume you'd get a 3. You get a 3? Yeah, because you hold this. So, yeah. So you'll get 0, 0, 3. So primary-wise, you're behind by 29.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Not ideal. I think I might end up doing better on second. No, I do end up doing better. I maxed my secondaries.
You got 45 on secondaries. Because I only got 12 on R&D.
Yeah.
And I only got 12 on Bring It Down because I only killed 6 knights.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah. Meanwhile, as you rush in and kill absolutely everything that's left here, obviously you max prisoners, and you also end up maxing assassinate.
And the hilarious thing was ruthless. After going 1-1, I ended up getting 5-5-5 because of
incredibly well balanced secondary.
What a reasonable secondary.
I say this is a guy who has 2 secondaries now that cap at 5 a turn, but most secondaries should cap at 4 a turn.
Ruthless is balanced, guys. It's okay. It's Chaos Knight's only really amazing secondary, so they can have it.
Didn't Storm go up to 4 points in activation?
Yeah, it's 4 to 8 points.
That's like a 12.
4. No, by 4 to 8, I mean 8 to 12.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't think that's that insane. It also like takes activations and move blocks me, and you can counter it with shooting.
It doesn't take activations. It just takes a movement.
That's an activation.
Sure, well, it doesn't prevent you from dealing damage. Obviously,
Either
it kind of does, but like
Storm and Ruthless are
I guess Storm is
tier
also
apart.
Storm is yes, that is true. And Storm is also so easy to stop by just shooting the dude.
Exactly.
Here we have our lovely friend here, Mr. Olson Johnson, has joined us to chat, and yeah, that about rounds it out. So final score at the end of the day, after Lucas runs in and kills a bunch of stuff, and obviously ends the game with 12, and I end the game with 0. It finishes up. Let me pull this up real quick. Primary wise, I ended with a 39 because I went 12, 12, 4, 2, 3, 3, 3, and then 0. Lucas ends up with a 22. Ouch. And if I fall back correctly over there, that's a 19.
Because 3 less.
Because 3 less on the tertiary there, because I shouldn't have let you hit the button. So Lucas gets 22 there, so I'm up him by 17 on primary, whereas he's up me 6 on secondary. So I ended up winning the game by 11, 77 to 88.
It's a good game.
Woo!
It was fun.
That was real cool.
The list did the thing, and it did it well. It was cool.
And there's a lot of potential to do it better, too. That's the thing that's exciting to me,
definitely.
is like those death strikes have so many applications of weird stuff to do.
Worked, which was cool.
Yeah. But it's funny, yeah. How do you feel about this as opposed to 80 neophytes and stealers and stuff, or even 100? If I
it was interesting. It was a fun, the game was much more about movement than it was about damage.
Yeah.
I feel like the GSC game, the reason it goes so poorly for you is we just try to out damage each other.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, like you do your full drop turn and at worst kill like 4 to 5 dogs, and then I just kill 80 neophytes. If you're positioned unless you're positioned like an absolute god.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the issue with that matchup. But this one was much more interesting because I didn't get on any of the objectives for so long, right?
So here's the thought, though, from my perspective.
Sure.
What if I just play the 100 Neos like this?
And just throw it all away to
put all 30 bikes into you like that, right? Because the death strikes didn't prevent you from advancing at all.
No.
Yeah. Like like all they did was do damage for standing there. But I could also do damage for standing there with neophytes.
Yeah, exactly.
Who also are really good at standing in lots of places.
Sure.
Which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's better.
Are you talking about like starting more neophytes on the board?
No, I would still drop them in. But instead of turn 2 being like those 2 knights each take 8 mortals, I guarantee you
3 more squads of seismic cannons hanging out in that midfield.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
And then I can also like start screening my dudes with dudes. And layering and stuff. I think it's interesting. I need to find those points for those icons because the 2d6 is so good. And at 20 points, it was interesting on one squad. At 10 points, I think I have taken on at least 3 of them. Yep. I don't want to cut excavate, but I think I might have to cut excavate.
Yeah, it's cool and it sometimes does stuff. But like, how many points is it?
20. It's exactly the same points as 2 icons.
Yeah, the icons are definitely better than that.
It's really matchup dependent. It kind of depends what the meta
ends up being. You cut your weird hand flamer bullshit as well?
I could cut
points.
So you want to hear a really funny problem?
Go for it.
I can't cut hand flamers and replace them with that because I can't make exactly a multiple of 10 by cutting 3-point hand flamers, and I have 5 of them.
And you need a multiple of 10 because you're OCD as fuck?
No, I need a multiple of 10 because I need the list to be exactly 2,000 points.
Okay.
Because if it's under 2,000 points, more than a quarter of it will be taken up by the Proof Brothers.
Oh my god, this is
and I'll lose Crossfire.
This is such a Tyler list, dude. Oh my god, I can't even fathom that as a issue to have in this game. Meanwhile, my dumbass is like, do I spend 40 points on Head Wappa Choppa Smash a Squig or scoring? Probably Smash it because it's funny. Meanwhile, you're doing 8-dimensional chess, trying to get your army to work and get the right keywords in it so you can actually have your army abilities.
Yeah. Oh, man. So that's why the Flamers. Also, I need the Crossfire from the Flamers. It's really nice.
Was there no other upgrade of...
So
the multiple of 10?
The other options, I could certainly mess with any of my other pregame upgrades. I could cut the pregame move off the bikes for an icon. I think that's worth it. I think that's hilarious. That's so good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I could, and then the other thing is I could cut from every angle, which I personally don't think is that valuable. But I need it so that I start enough things on the table.
What's from every angle?
The first turn out flank.
What is that on right now?
A unit in the 100 neophytes. It's not a unit of neophytes. The ones with the auto guns.
Oh, you're talking about the 100 neophytes.
Yeah. In this list, both squads already have banners. I don't need to cut anything. But in the 100 neophytes list, I need to
how
find...
useful is from every angle?
It's incredibly important because it makes sure I start enough shit on the table. Because that unit starts as a blip, so it counts as being deployed. So it gets me to my 1,000 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have to spend the points on it.
Oh, because you still have to obey the half the units, half your power level needs to be on the table?
Half my units, half my points, not power level.
Okay.
But yeah, so I need 1,000 points on the table. That's the nice thing about the guard stuff is that's 500 points of shit right there.
Yeah.
So it's giga easy in this list. But I've still got to tinker around and see. I think it might end up being that the scientist gets cut.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
With the grenade launchers for extra crossfire, that's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. We'll see how it goes. It also means...
How reliable are they out playing crossfire? Because don't they just get
75%? It's 2 shots hitting on 4s.
Okay. There's often rerolls involved.
Yeah, those are ones to hit.
They're not industrial, right?
They're not industrial
weapons. Okay, so they'll take -1 to hit.
Yeah, they certainly. No, it's not great. It's 3 different chances to do it. I can also apply with the flamer. It's awkward. I think what I do is I just accept that I'm getting fewer rerolls in places and start the Nexus on the table.
For what purpose?
He hands out a token in the command phase.
Oh, yeah, that seems good.
Because usually I don't get a token, but also I don't need a token turn 1.
You don't. I mean, the bikes, it activates the bike's exposure, right? Because their exposure doesn't work. It basically allows all of the bikes to benefit from exposure instead of -1 of them. The first squad that would have to always apply it.
Yeah. Assuming they all go for the same target and get within 6 of it.
Which, as we saw, I guess we're talking about the 100. Against the 100 Neos and bikes, I would probably also not start 5 inches back. Because the death strikes weren't the issue in this game. It was your bikes blocking me in.
Yes.
I also deployed the terrain poorly.
Yes. Add props to John.
I'm not exactly sure what I should have done. Probably, certainly put the ruins further apart from each other. But like the fact that they have to be 6 from one another and then also not
jump a little bit forward so where we can see them. Yeah. I think the problem is the combination of being behind this thing and it being here.
Yeah.
Like what if you just switch these two?
That is a good thought.
Because this is so much easier to move around.
Yeah. I think this one being in the backfield wasn't actually the end of the world.
Also, switch these two.
Right. Exactly. I think this thing needed to be like here in the open at like a 45-degree angle to me or something like that.
I kind of love putting this exactly at the edge of where that crate is, because now, you full 6-inch block me from putting my stuff down instead of 4 inches.
That's interesting.
It's obscuring, sure, but it's huge. Go touch it or go see around it. Not that hard. And like the true line of sight, if I can get all the way up here, maybe like that's an easy angle to cut.
Yeah.
While being way out of the way of the rest of your crap. I think that's a really good first place.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually smart. Didn't think about that. And that would have, then my piece of terrain that was right here wouldn't have been 6 inches by 6 inches. It would have been this. Yeah. And that just affords me so much more room.
You could even like cycle these. This one goes here. The crates go here. The forest goes there.
For sure.
Just be like, cool, wide open space. Don't make any kind of death shoots.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so there's some thoughts on player place terrain. You got some bonus content out of that. Great game, man. Yeah, that was a ton of fun.
The game was fun.
Look forward to more stuff. I'll probably play this list in more bit reps. I'll play my other lists in more bit reps. If there's stuff in particular that you want to see, if you're in the Patreon Discord, put it there. We will absolutely make it happen. If you are not, throw it in the comments. We'll probably make it happen as well. We kind of like playing Warhammer, as it turns out.
We do.
It's fun stuff. Anyway, that'll be said and done. I've been Tyler.
I've been Lucas.
Thanks so much for watching this BitRep TNG, and we will see you next time.